All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get airborne. Very excited today for a couple reasons, which we're going to get into in a couple minutes here. But trading the Death Star, just was on the phone, on Skype, kind of felt like a one-armed paper hanger here for a little bit as we're following Amazon earnings here at Top Gun Options. So everybody, welcome aboard real quick. Why is it a great day? Well, first of all, it is my son's 19th birthday, so I got to take 1 minute to be a proud dad here. So my son, Matthew Buckley Jr., turned 19, first birthday away from home. He's up at Norwich University, the Military College of Vermont. He wants to take care of he wants to take after his old, in his old man's footsteps. I flew for the Navy. Apparently, I dropped him on his head when he was a kid because for some reason he wants to fly for the Marine Corps. So he's well on his way to being an officer of Marines, and he's actually almost done his freshman year. Going to be flying up here in a couple weeks to go pick him up. So 19th birthday of my son, but I'm also equally, or maybe a little less excited, but we are launching our first new live trading service. You asked for it, we delivered. I'm calling it a solo in parentheses for right now, Friday, because we're going to do our first live trading session focusing solely on this name tomorrow at 1 o'clock, but we actually might move it to Monday. I wanted to see how you all wanted to react to that when you get on board. We already have we have about 50 slots left. We have 200 slots in go-to training, so we can all chat back and forth. So once we get full here, by the end of this brief, I'm going to take a survey and see when you guys want to do it. So Solo Friday, this is a brand new live trade brief. This is the first new live trade brief here at Top Gun Options in, for 4 years, I believe. And it's going to be our lowest cost service, so it's a good entry service for you guys. So this is going to be awesome. Exactly. He's my little eagle there. So it's going to launch tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. All right, now, speaking of my son and speaking about future fighter pilots, let me ask you guys a question. This is the first question of Air Brief. Which fighter jet would you fly? You ready? This one. Take a look at that one. First of all, me as an F-18 pilot, pulling that up gives me agita. There's about 300 switches and dials in that cockpit. Okay, so there's choice A, and then let's take a look at choice B. Which one would you personally rather fly? Here's what I'm getting at, and we're gonna talk about this in a little bit. I do a lot of coaching with TGO members, and a lot of you are flying this jet right here, this F4 Phantom, which is a very, very cluttered cockpit, man. So today we're going to talk about simplifying, cleaning up your cockpit, right? This cockpit right there is actually an F4 Phantom. Great airplane, but very maintenance intensive. And look at all those dials and gauges. Guess what this cockpit is? It's the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. Exactly. Most of you are saying this one. Guess how smart this jet is? We call it the Wonder Woman jet. It is so smart, it actually limits the information that it displays to the pilot at various points in the flight because the jet's smart enough to go, they don't need to worry about this at this point. I got it. So we're going to talk today about maybe simplifying and cleaning up your cockpit in a little bit. A quick poll question, because I want to know, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but so there's your first poll on the screen. Are you new to Top Gun Options? Do you know about Top Gun Options? Or actually, I've been around, I've watched your briefs for a little bit. I've just been waiting for a little bit of a lower cost service. Obviously, most of our live trade briefing services, a little higher dollar because they're a lot more intensive, but this one is going to be focused on one name. So do me a favor and vote real quick there, because I want to know how long I got to drop anchor and talk about the history of Top Gun Options and what's going on. Okay, a couple more seconds to vote. Good. So looks like we have, I don't know, about 30% who are new and also waiting for a lower cost trading service. Awesome. For the folks that answered that, looking for a lower cost trading service, welcome aboard, man. This is for you. And this is also, we came up with this service mainly because of our current members, right? They wanted to say, hey, man, let's trade in one name and one name only. But for all the folks who said, hey, I'm new, real quick 5-minute executive summary. Matthew Buckley, my call sign is Wiz. I flew the F-18 Hornet for the United States Navy for about 15 years. Graduated from the Navy Fighter Weapons School, which many of you know as Top Gun, and also was an adversary pilot. Got to do some, flying a bad guy jet over Pakistan. Got to fly with the Blue Angels when my buddy was on the team. They're actually coming down here to Fort Lauderdale in a couple weekends. Looking forward to seeing them. And also was an LSO. I was a landing signal officer. So when I wasn't flying, that's me with that squared away haircut when I had more hair. But day or night when I wasn't flying, I'd be on the back of the ship helping my fellow aviators get aboard. That's called a landing signal officer. And then I also flew 44 combat sorties over southern Iraq. Starting to get ugly again, folks. And the Arabian Gulf, folks, the Persian Gulf literally is almost like a lake. If you've never seen it, in a picture, here it is. That's Kuwait City. This is Iraq, and there is Iran. And then probably right out in a little dot out there was the USS Kitty Hawk when I was heading home. So Iran's starting to be back in the news, folks. The president, rightly so, it took him long enough, is saying, hey, the 8 folks that I gave exemptions to that could still get oil from Iran, China, India, Japan, South Korea, Turkey, on May 2nd, we're turning off the spigots. Nobody is allowed to get oil from Iran anymore. Oil's going to go through the roof. Iran has already said, we're going to close the Straits of Hormuz, and we have told Iran that would be an act of war. Get ready for potential volatility there. So that's me. That's my background. All right, man, how'd you go from the cockpit to the trading pit? Well, pretty cool transition. Quick background, not poor. My mom would twist my ear off if she heard me say that. Middle class Irish Catholic kid, one of 6 children from South Philadelphia, South Jersey. Parents always instilled the idea of service above self. Loved aviation. We lived on the beach on the Jersey Shore and wanted to serve my country. So there you go. Navy. Joined the Navy and wanted to be a fighter pilot, but I was always interested in finance. My dad taught me that those stock symbols on the back of the newspaper, what they did, and if you're going to McDonald's for your Happy Meal today, Matthew, if you own the stock, you could even make money on that stock going up. So you obviously don't join the Navy to get rich. So I taught myself as a young junior officer how to trade stocks, and then after a very good lunch with a fellow squadron mate who was actually a financial advisor before he came in the Navy, he told me about options, and I never looked back. I don't think I very rarely traded a single share of stock after that, because it was all about the option. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free, right? So I started applying everything I learned flying a fighter aircraft, the discipline, managing risk, having a strategy, implementing tactics, knowing when to get out of a good or a bad situation before it got worse or better, right? Or worse, right? So I applied all of that to my trading, and it worked with incredible results. I ended up popping up on the radar of one of the largest options trading firms in the world, headquartered right there in the Chicago Board of Trade. That's the intersection of Jackson and LaSalle, and beautiful building. And these big windows right there were actually our firm, Peak 6 Investments. Had a great time when I was there. Helped build a hedge fund. I helped build a retail brokerage and was their managing director of strategy, multi-billion-dollar options firm, and was the founder and CEO of the Options News Network. Had an absolute blast. But and anybody from Chicago in the brief today? We got a nice crowd, huge crowd in here, huge. Okay, a couple people. No offense. I mean, great people, great food. I love the Midwest, love Chicago, but I'm a beach guy, man. I need an ocean. So we decided to pick up the squadron and move down south here to South Florida. But I always joke about how I felt like Valentine in trading places. I was kind of Eddie Murphy going up to the big leagues. But so we moved the squadron down here to South Florida about 10 years ago. We started, we're almost on our 10th year of Top Gun Options. Okay, that's enough about me and TGO. That was for the folks who, this is a new brief. I have no idea who you are or who Top Gun Options is. So hopefully that got you a little bit acclimated, because I want to focus the rest of our brief. And let me I'm not going to silence my phone because I got buddies texting me who are on the call. And remember, once earnings come out on something, man, they don't worry about the initial reactions after hours. It's going to take tomorrow, which is why we're doing our brief tomorrow at 1 o'clock, to figure out exactly what happened. Okay, now let me ask you a question here. What is the risk? Because we're going to talk about trading a single stock going forward in this service. We're going to trade what I affectionately call the Death Star, Amazon. Amazon is the Death Star, folks. What is it in? It's in food. It's in healthcare. It is in advertising. It's starting to take sniper shots into advertising on Google. It's in B2B, business to business. And oh, by the way, in a couple months, it's one of the finalists for a massive $10 billion, forget how much it is, government or Department of Defense cloud contract. Folks, Amazon is in everything. And it's also, I predicted this 2 years ago. I said, he will not buy a FedEx or UPS. He will build his own. Anybody hear of Amazon Air? Well, unfortunately, you probably heard about Amazon Air. What was that? Last month, 2 months ago, when a 767 crashed trying to land in Houston. Awful mishap. Not even going to get into it what happened. But the dude is buying his own FedEx or building his own FedEx and UPS. This thing literally is the Death Star. It's huge. It is in absolutely everything. But let's talk about this. Since you've ever started investing, what is one of those Wall Street isms? Don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Exactly. Everybody's kind of rogering up there. What's the risk of trading a single stock? Somebody tell me, what's literally the risk of trading just one name? What can it do? Somebody hook me up. That's exactly right, Steve. It can go to zero. Ladies and gentlemen, you got it, broke, downside, Dan, Graham, you guys. It can go to zero. Anybody remember this lovely company? Bear Stearns. Everybody remember at the height of the financial crisis, good old Jim Cramer on CNBC. Bear Stearns at $70 is a steal. I'd sell the wife and kids and get into Bear Stearns. You're nuts if you don't get into Bear Stearns at $70. 2 days later, it was at zero. He doesn't talk about that one too much. What about this peach? Lehman Brothers. Now, what is the difference? Now, I know you didn't show up for a quiz, but this is the way I do my live trade briefs. I want to train you to be able to do this. I want to, you teach a man the fish, he's going to eat the rest of his life. I'm not just going to go throw fish at you. So they went to zero. Why? Folks, Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns, other than the real estate and the dudes are taking the sign down, didn't have anything. When you think about it, they had paper, right? Here's how the run on these two went. Hey, Wiz, I got a huge position with Bear Stearns I just got out of. I'm hearing they don't have enough coin, man. They're having liquidity issues. Dude, what are you talking about? Why didn't you give me a heads up? I got to trade with them too. And now I'm not going to finish that story. You know how those circles end. It was an absolute run on the bank with these folks. Amazon ain't a bank. It owns stuff. It's got stuff, right? So can it go to zero? The answer obviously academically has to be yes. Will it go to zero? No, right? So the risks of trading in a single name are obviously the underlying. But as we've seen with Amazon, ever since it got airborne, the thing really hasn't looked back. Okay, now I already gave the answer away. What is the other risk specifically? So we know Amazon ain't going to go to zero, right? What is the other risk in this stock? That dude. Love him or hate him, which it seems like there's only two answers there, or one answer, is this guy. Donald Trump, I think, respects Jeff Bezos as a businessman. Donald Trump's probably like, man, I wish I built an Amazon. So there's regulatory risk. About a year ago when we were trading Amazon, every once in a while we'd get a sniper tweet from the president saying, oh, Amazon, huge, needs to be broken up. And Amazon would implode a little bit. And then what happens? Amazon started ignoring those petulant presidential tweets, right? And it would look incredibly bad for the president to go, you know what? I'm going to order the Justice Department to look into Amazon. That's awful. He doesn't like Jeff Bezos because of what? The Washington Post. They don't give him the best press, so this is a potential threat as well, right? So that dude is a threat to Amazon more because of the Washington Post, not because of Jeff Bezos. Okay? Makes sense? So now let's talk about what the benefits of trading a single stock is. What are some of the benefits? Folks, if you trade the same name, you can potentially profit no matter what it does. Think about a market maker. Does everybody know what a market maker does? I have buddies, and that's why I have buddies who are texting me, who are on the call, listening to the call, who don't trade anything. They don't even know a stock market exists. Amazon is its own stock market, folks. Amazon has its own VIX. Apple has its own VIX. Folks, these are their own worlds of trading. So if you stay in one name, you could potentially profit no matter which direction it goes up. Exactly, Benoit. You get to know what you're trading. Just like Benoit said, you stay focused on the news that impacts one name instead of that busy F-4 Phantom cockpit, folks. Flying the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter keeps you focused on what exactly is most important. You're not sitting in that F-4 Phantom. When I do individual coaching, folks, a buddy of mine who's a doctor down here in Boca Raton, I remember looking at his portfolio during our first session. He had 33 positions. And I'm pausing for effect because I'm even shaking. No professional trader I know manages that many positions. He's like, I don't even know when I got into that one or what's that still. I'm like, oh my God. Staying in one name makes you an expert in that name. You're only going to follow that news. You're going to reduce time spent on other positions. Does that make sense? So let's do another poll. Here we go. Let's go with this one. How many positions, and obviously your names aren't displayed or anything, so be honest with this because I want to know. Take a look at this question. You ready? Let me put my cheaters on here. How many positions do you currently have in your portfolio? Let's take a look at that. So do me a favor and answer that one. 0 to 5. Hey, man, I might be new. Or I got 0 to 5. 6 to 12, 13 to 19, or 20 or greater. Let's go ahead and knock that out. Do me a favor and vote for that one. Because this is good data for me. Help me help you help me. Okay. 0 to 5, 6 to 12, 13 to 19, or 20 or greater. And God bless you. Okay. Yep. Just vote in there. You don't have to put it in the text. Eli. Yep. This is going to be like your standard Top Gun Options trading service. So I'm going to get to all the benefits here in a little bit. All right. Everybody good? Everybody, how many voted? Good, 70% voted. All right, let me close this and display it. So take a look. Share, there we go. So 39, 34, 15, and 1. Let me tell you that 5 to 7-ish is right down the fairway for a retail trader. Anything north of 7, 8 positions, you probably need to be doing this full time. Okay? So I appreciate you. Let me hide that. You hide that poll. So that's good. That's good data, and that's good to know. Okay, so we want to go from this to potentially this, right? Cleaning up our cockpit and maybe trading in one name. Okay. Now, some of you have seen in the emails I sent out to join this brief, I put XLY in parentheses. Why would we trade I thought you were just trading in one name. Well, take a look at the XLY is obviously an iShares product. 25% of XLY is made up of what? Amazon. So tomorrow when we look at actual trades that we're going to add to our model portfolio, you're going to see that maybe doing one contract of synthetic stock with Amazon is going to be pretty expensive, man. It's a $1,900 stock. The XLY ain't. Right, 100 and whatever it is as of the close. We'll take a look at the screen in a couple minutes. But here's the good thing: if you're sitting there and your mind computer's like, Wiz, since I was born, I was always told to diversify. Look at this: Amazon, Home Depot, Mickey D's, Nike, Starbucks, Lowe's, Booking, TJX, General Motors, Target. So if we can't get enough scratch together to maybe do a synthetic stock or here's what we're going to do tomorrow, folks. We're going to hop in our time machine and we're going to fly all the way out to January of 2021, and we're going to get bullish on Amazon. But if it's a little pricey, what are we going to do? We're going to use the XLY as a good substitute. And I'll show you the graph of Amazon versus XLY. When an ETF is made up of 25% of a name like this, it's going to move that ETF. But there's your diversification. If you're a little creeped out by Amazon only, XLY is a good potential proxy. So think about this, right? I've done a lot of thinking about this. I've done this before where I just have my one separate account that is only one name. So big Amazon, little XLY. What are we going to do? Our base positions we're going to establish are bullish synthetic stock or long call diagonal positions. If you have no idea what those are, don't worry about it. That's what we're going to do during our briefs. I'm going to explain exactly what this tactic is. It ain't a strategy, by the way, folks. If you're new to TGO, those aren't strategies. The strategy is trading Amazon so I can retire early or send my son to college or buy a boat in 6 months. Those are strategies. Tactics are synthetic stocks, long call diagonals that support that strategy. So let's say Amazon's going up. What do? We trade bullish spreads. Okay. What if it's going down? You trade bearish spreads, and we'll sell some front month upside calls, which I'll explain. What if it's trading sideways, Wiz? It's not doing anything. We can be doing something. We can be trading iron condors, right? So if it's going up, we're bullish. If it's going down, we're bearish. And if it's going sideways, we're going to trade what we call iron condors. Okay, let's go ahead and, do they? Yeah, the June, we can even go out to the June 21s. I appreciate that. Take a look at our current spread. We covered this yesterday in it's a different service. This is just going to be one brief, low-cost service. Our current spread yesterday, we closed yesterday for a $2,800 profit on that risk. Let's take a look at this. So here we go. This is the accelerated retirement portfolio, and we're going to focus. I still might dabble in some Amazon and the other services for my current members, but this one's going to be dedicated to the Death Star. So this position we put on a couple weeks ago expires tomorrow. We got out of it today, but if you stayed into it through earnings, you printed money. This tactic is called a bull put spread. Look at the strikes we used 3 weeks ago or whatever it was. The 1770, 1767 and a half bull put spread. 92 cent credit we took in. Right now, when we got out, or yesterday when we got out of it, it was at 11 cents. This trade made $2,800 in 2 weeks. Take a look right here, though. This was our max potential loss in that trade. I'm going to teach you that we're going to have an SOP, a standard operating procedure, when we trade Amazon. We're going to have a max risk per trade. We're not just going to throw them on and go, I don't know how much that can lose, but this is how much it can make. So for the TGO members who yesterday said, Wiz, feeling very bullish about Amazon earnings, so I'm going to stay in it. They're up, depending if they did, 35 contracts, they're up. They'll be up $3,200 tomorrow morning on that spread. $3,200 can pay for 3 years of this service. So let's go to the tape here. What's it doing after hours? Up 1%-ish? Yeah, up about $22. Now, let me talk real quick about our strategic mindset in the Death Star. What's going on? First of all, Amazon has a massive new, not necessarily new, but it has become a profit center, business to business. Their B2B business is absolutely flying. What's coming up in a couple months here? Amazon increases lobbying as it eyes a $10 billion technology deal. This, and I covered this yesterday with my members, but guess what? There is a huge contract coming out for the Department of Defense, the cloud, right? It's either going to be Microsoft or it's going to be Amazon. Now, hopefully, the Pentagon looks at that objectively. Hopefully, they don't look up and look at the commander-in-chief and say, okay, well, Amazon's Jeff Bezos and we don't like him. Does anybody know what, if you pay, I've been paying attention to Amazon for 5-10 years. For the past couple years, Jeff Bezos has flown under the radar, quiet as a church mouse. Even when the president was slamming Amazon and it's, screwing the post office and he needs to pay more, Donald Trump will solely be responsible for the death of the United States Postal Service. I mean, Jeff Bezos was doing this before Trump turned the lights on what's going on. He should. It's kind of like when he talks to President Xi Jinping over in China. He's complimentary. He's like, hey, man, I don't fault you for sticking it to us. I would have done the same thing to you, but good on you. But that ends now. Same thing with Amazon. I mean, hey, the Postal Service that's the rate, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to drive it into the ground, said Jeff Bezos. And then when Trump really started going after him, what did he do? He went and started leasing his own airplanes. So, but what has he also done? He's flown under the political radar. Has anybody seen Sheryl Sandberg, Mark Zuckerberg, the Sanjay guy from Google, all the Jack Dorsey from Twitter, all these FANG skippers have been dragged up in front of the House and Senate and grilled about their politics. Jeff Bezos has flown right under the radar and not said a peep. As a matter of fact, about a year ago at the Air Force conference, it was like in D.C. He was being interviewed by a 4-star former Air Force general. Amazon, this was around the time that Google, it was reported, is helping the Chinese army, right? He's like, Amazon's an American company. We support the Pentagon. About 6 or 7 months ago, Google backed out of a Pentagon contract. Why? Their exact statement to the media was, the Pentagon doesn't reflect Google's values. I'm going to say that again, but slowly. The Pentagon does not reflect Google's values. Does everybody remember that Google used to have a saying that was, what was it, do no evil or something like that? Yeah, it was like, do no evil. About the same time they said the Pentagon doesn't reflect our values, they took that off their wall and they took it out of their corporate PR stuff, and they can't answer why. So Jeff Bezos, to his credit, has said, we're an American company and we're going to support the Pentagon. Awful. All right, so they might, I don't know, it's a coin flip between Microsoft and Amazon getting the government cloud contract. It's not like if either one of them doesn't get it, they're going out of business. But I don't know, man. That's a coin flip, but potentially bullish. Their lobbying is through the roof. They are blowing away all the other FANG folks that I just talked about with their lobbying efforts. What else? How about this? Amazon spends like a drunken sailor, and no offense to me, I know what that means. I have a lot of experience spending like a drunken sailor. Amazon's spending in the spotlight as it reports earnings. The e-commerce giant has warned it could return to big spending waves after taking a breather in 2018. This is good. Jeff Bezos, anecdotally, I'm not going to quote him word for word, but he said something like, if we make a penny in profit, I'm going to be mad. Why didn't we spend that penny doing something? The guy could care less about profitability, man. He said that, right? That's why I call it the Death Star. He's not into any of this making money stuff. He's into building an absolute empire. Forbes, why are brands flocking to Amazon advertising? Do you see that word? Wait, Google? Look at what the Wall Street Journal, look at this headline. Amazon's rise in ad searches dents who? Dents Google's dominance. Jeff Bezos is an octopus going into just about everything. Now, some of you might be sitting there like, hey man, I heard he retreated from China recently. He did, to focus solely on what? India. So we got Alibaba, we got JD and Alibaba over in China. I don't think Jeff Bezos doesn't strike me as a guy who wants to be third, right? So he said, you know what, let's pitch our tent and head to India instead. I don't think they're saying goodbye to China completely, but Jeff Bezos would rather be the biggest fish in a different pool than, the third fish in the China pool. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, and folks, just for the sake of time, I'm not blowing up. Great questions. Let me answer all this stuff at the end because very good questions. But let's get to the tape. And as I said, it's still going on. The CFO is talking now, but big beat, man. It was an absolute big beat. Amazon smashes earnings expectation, huge beat. Matched estimates for the top and the when it initially came out, it was 59.7 versus 59.6 estimated flat. So the EPS, the top line was in line, and it really is it's a revenue growth versus profit discussion with Amazon. So don't take these initial after-hour moves as anything other than after-hours moves. This is after-hours trading and analyst shucking and jiving and stuff like that. So once the dust settles tonight and tomorrow morning, we're going to do that 1 o'clock brief, and we're just going to focus on this. It's usually going to be about a 30-minute session. It works out perfectly that this is going to be tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock because tomorrow morning, all morning tomorrow is going to be Amazon and everybody focused on it. So by after lunch tomorrow, the dust should have settled and things should be clear, and it's going to be perfect time for us to put on a synthetic stock or a long call diagonal. Now, I told you I promised to, let's bring up the XLY. Let's go 1 year. Let me compare the XLY with Amazon and show you that it is a good proxy. Look at that, okay? So Amazon obviously is the green. It has outperformed the XLY, but look at this, almost tick for tick. If you slid this down, it would fit over top of the XLY perfectly. Or you know what? Let me do it the other way. Let me bring Amazon up as the chart and overlay XLY. Let's do that. Compare XLY. And it'll be underneath, right? There you go. So the blue line is the XLY. So different, a little bit of underperformance, folks, but look, how much does the XLY cost? 120 after hours, and obviously it's up on the, it's 25% Amazon. It's up on the beat here, so it's up after hours. Look at the good run this thing has had since this, the Fed's dead bottom here in December. Great run out of the XLY, and it's diversified. Like I said, we have a lot of other solid names in there. So tomorrow at 1 o'clock, I'm going to show you synthetic stock. And it's going to be pricey on Amazon. But like I said, folks, and you saw my disclaimer at the beginning, I can't give you individual investment advice, but you have to ask that question. Maybe I should clean up my cockpit, and instead of having 300 switches and dials, I got a nice clean flat panel display in my fighter jet, and I'm just focusing on Amazon. I have one of my coaching clients, Deb, she talked to her financial advisor, and she's like, you know what, Wiz, looking at risk, he and I talked about just staying in this name, right? I get it, folks. Some of you who might be averse to this, oh man, it's a single stock. You shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. Actually, who's the dude, the investment guru recently said something like, no, that's wrong. That's exactly what you should do, is put all your eggs in one basket so you know the name. You know the inside, outside of this and how it moves. You stay focused. You're not watching news stories for 50 different positions or 33 positions. And I don't know why this thing went up or anything like this. You essentially become a market maker in one name, and you become what we call a SME, a subject matter expert. Okay. And yeah, good stuff. Absolutely. Who was that, Jack? So folks, but you trade the trend. Let's take a look. Amazon was our biggest winner last year. It was like $110,000 type of thing. Let me bring up Amazon, the 1 year chart. So here's what happened. You guys are smart. Amazon ignoring everything that was the main reason. And I stopped trading the S&P 500 to focus on Amazon. Why? Because the S&P would be doing something and Amazon didn't care. Like I said many times in this brief, folks, Amazon's its own stock market. It ignored the overall other market. It doesn't care what the market's doing. But guess what happened? Right there on October 3rd, when Jerome Powell said, party's over, we're taking away the punch bowl. What happened? Everybody cared. And then what happened here? The Federal Reserve said, I said that? No, I didn't say that back here, and game on. So to me, it is a perfect time to start looking at maybe single Amazon, because it's back to being a Dow, S&P, RUT, who cares? We're us, and we're printing money. We're printing money, but we're taking that money and we're doing good stuff with it. Whole Food, J.P. Morgan, or Jamie Dimon, Bezos, and Warren Buffett, they want to solve health care. I mean, God, the guy's got his own space company. Amazon Air, we've gone through all the verticals. So Jack, you're right. I mean, so it makes sense. If Amazon's going up, our underlying synthetic stock or long call diagonals making money, and we can trade bullish spreads. Amazon goes down a little bit, we trade bearish spreads. Amazon's moving sideways, we trade iron condors on it, right? So think of Amazon as the S&P 500, because it technically is. Look at all the companies it's got in it. Hell, AWS, Amazon Web Services, which I use for Top Gun options, wasn't even, when it came out, thought to be a profit center. It was going to be a loss leader. It prints money. I think it was like North American business was like $52 billion or something like that. So these guys get into things and don't even know if they're going to make money, and they end up making money. Ryan, do you mind if I share that? All right, you're right. Great question. Ryan, I'm going to post that. It wasn't really a question, it was a statement, which is, yeah, Jack, absolutely. You have to choose the right basket. Ryan, where do I sign up? I'm sold and I want to go home. Okay, I need to do that too, because I want to listen to the rest of this call. And actually, my daughter Keely has her open house tonight for sixth grade. So here's what we're going to do. You can sign up. So we looked at the current Amazon spread that we closed yesterday, nice $2,800 in profit. Here's what we're going to do. this is our normal weekly trading schedule, right? Monday through Thursday, we trade at 1 o'clock. These services total about $19.97. What's missing on this slide? Obviously Friday. So that's why I threw this on Friday, and we'll talk tomorrow, and I'll do a poll and see when you all want to do it. So that's all $19.97. For those of you who said, hey man, I was waiting for a less expensive service, this is it, guys. So Ryan, here you go. Brand new live trade brief tomorrow, 1 p.m. The live trade briefs individually are about $1.67. I'm going to do under $100 for this solo service, folks. Solo Friday, only $97 a month. And if you do an annual membership, it's a 25% discount. I think it's $8.97. I'll show you in a couple minutes. So here's the link. So Ryan, here you go. go.topgunoptions.com/solo. Can everybody remember that? So Deborah, I'll answer that in a couple minutes about the bid-ask spread, or tomorrow. If you can't attend these briefs, this is Top Gun Options, folks. I'm going to send you a text alert tomorrow afternoon. Wiz, I work Fridays at 1. Great. You're going to get a text alert. This is one I sent out earlier in the week on CSX. Check out this trade, our CSX weekly options trade. Not that you guys are in that service. Oh, it's in the other portfolio. Dang it. In the other service. So it's up $2,000. So I sent out this text alert for the weekly options, folks. So we send out text alerts, folks. If you're not in here, well, even if you are in here, you get the text alert. And I also send out what? An email alert. And 30 minutes after the brief, the replay is posted. A lot of folks, watch the replay after the kids go to bed or Sunday at the beach. So this is what the email looks like, man. So you get a text alert, you get an email alert with the actual screenshots of the trades. So yeah, even if you're not there, you'll be there in spirit. If you're sitting at death by meeting talking to your manager and your cell phone buzzes, that's going to be us. Now, I'm also, just to help you with your overall training, these are $197 on the website. So if you get airborne today, I'm going to give you access to our proprietary manuals, the primary, intermediate, and advanced workbooks. Those alone are $197, folks. So for the cost of the mat, what's that, 2 months of the service. So joining today, because it's all about the training, folks. I want you to be trained to be able to focus on an Amazon. So today I'm going to throw in those skill-based manuals, all right? go.topgunoptions.com/solo. So quick reminder of what you get. Access to the weekly Amazon, XLY, trade brief, text and email alerts. You're also going to get access to our Ready Room on our member site. You can ask questions about it. Hey, what's going on? Or you can ask questions of me or your fellow squadron mates. And the 3 manuals, folks. So stacked, it's a lot more expensive than we're getting at. I gotta share with you some of these case studies. Greg has been here. He listened to me 3 years ago. Look at this, folks. I opened he's up 15 grand in 8 trading days, 30%. David, this was yesterday. Got out yesterday as well for a 72% profit, but my Jan 21 is up 40 grand in 2 days. Now, we're going to talk about Amazon tomorrow, folks, and the synthetic stock, because these guys have like 1 or 2 contracts on. But 1 or 2 contracts in Amazon can be disturbingly good. Scotty, Amazon up 11 grand on 1 contract. Thanks for the idea. Kevin, I think you're in here. Amazon synthetic stock, late to enter, up 200%, paid 8, now 24. I'm no rocket surgeon, but that's a pretty good return. So Kevin, nice job. Kevin's up in Vancouver. Dennis, 72.40, closing out your VXX and Amazon trades today. Thanks, Wiz. Greg again. My Jan 21s in Amazon are up over 16K in this last week when we were having a nice move. Thomas, up 10. David, did Amazon TGO, synthetic stock 2 months ago, up 42. And Greg, again, well, Greg's our stars too. I think he's got like 3 contracts. Greg, are you in here? You might even have like 3. So those are case studies, folks. That ain't just me. That's them. So Solo Friday, our newest live trade brief. Amazon, we're going to cover XLY. Limited membership. Once we hit 200 to go to training room, I want to be able to chat back and forth. This one, there's too many people in here. More than 200, we have to use GoToWebinar. We want to use GoToTraining because I want you all to be able to talk back and forth, okay? It's $97 a month or $897 a year. That's a 25% discount. All right, let me, I'll show you the order page here. Let me, where is it? right there. Go.topgunoptions.com/solo. And yeah, I'll answer your questions here. Ryan, I signed up for the year. Good night. Ryan, Ryan, you shop like I do, man. I walk into the mall, I walk straight to what I want, and I'm out. It's 10 minutes max. Jurgen, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. It's the average holding period. You ready for this, Jurgen? Come tomorrow, and you're going to see that the holding period for the June. Thanks for who did that? Somebody gave me the was it Graham? Folks, look at this. Look at the options in Amazon. Look at this, folks. The average holding time for that one, Jurgen, is going to be about 2 years. We're going to hold this trade. And looking at Greg and David and Scotty and some of these other guys, the last time they closed out some of these things, those were 100 grand plus trades, folks, in one name. Look at some of those guys' moves in a week with one contract. So the spreads, Jurgen, hell, we might trade a weekly spread and it expire here. We might trade the next month and we'll hold it for 30 days. But these, I'm going to hold for years, man. A year and a half to 2 years. Does that make sense? I'll explain all of that tomorrow. If you don't know what a synthetic stock or long call diagonal is, Jurgen, I'll explain that tomorrow. Doug, yeah, man. Not to take away from this brief, but yeah, if you want to donate to MAD, for those of you who don't know, I lost a sister to a drunk driver, and I am offering all my folks who donate to MAD, I give them a break on their lifetime membership. Hang on, let me participant/whiz. Yeah, Doug, if that offer is still open. The run, the Mad Dash, is actually on Sunday, so you have until Sunday to donate. Sorry, didn't want to take away from that, but he asked. Yeah, Doug, that offer is still valid. All right, let me go back and finish answering these questions here, guys. The link is in the no, I didn't put it in the chat box. It's really easy to remember, folks. Go.topgunoptions.com/solo. And then let me answer a bunch of questions, and then we'll wrap up. Because like I said, I gotta go get ready to go see my daughter's middle school. All right. I'm looking forward to this, man. And I gotta jump on the phone and see the summary of what this call. I saw, I love, I paid. Damn. Oh man. Let me show you these two guys. It's awesome. Right here. Dan, Ryan came in and left. I signed up for the year. Good night. I saw, I love, I paid. Thanks, Dan. Welcome aboard. Yeah, no, I like I said, at 200, I think coming into this, most of our members, I'm not going to say all, most of our existing members jumped into this service because it makes sense, right? If they want to try and clean their cockpit up. The other, I don't want to mix up the other portfolios, but we only have about 7 to 8. That's why I asked you all that question. Only about 7, 8 positions in those. Oh wait, I didn't even show you what they wrote. Sorry, my screen was frozen. These guys, right here. There you go. I saw, I love, I paid. Veni, Vidi, Vici. So Dan, welcome aboard. And Jurgen, hopefully I pronounced your name correctly there. No, Chris, I'm not canceling weekly options Monday at 1. Nope, nothing changes. I'm just trying to, I'm going to survey all the new folks tomorrow when they want to do it. I'm leaning towards Monday instead of Friday because as you know, I do all my coaching on Fridays. Oops, sorry. And don't want to say that. All right. Other questions I can answer. Ken, welcome aboard. Now there's a question I want to answer. Yeah, Chris, yeah, you can split. Absolutely. I'm just going to answer a couple more and I got to get ready. Dorn Mills, who's going to win Lord Stanley's Cup? I got to tell, what a epic series, man. All these, I can't believe the Capitals. I can't believe the Lightning. I mean, the Penguins, the Bruins. You know what, Dorn? I can't answer that, man. I'm a Flyers fan, and look at me. I'm out playing golf. So Dorn, I can't even tell you who's going to win. That's a good question. Jurgen, I need to make money each week, not in 2 years. Well, Jurgen, guess what? Over time, if you're in a June 21 position on Amazon and that thing's going up, that does make money each week. But we are going to trade weekly options in that as well, Jurgen. It just depends. We're going to trade what the market's showing us. So I'm not one of those guys that goes, hey, I have to. When you throw out an absolute like that, the hair on the back of my neck stands up a little bit. Rebecca, awesome. Welcome aboard. Wiz, go make your daughter proud of her father. That's what the money is all about. Please tell Susie sign me up for monthly. Jack, I will. I'll hook you up with that. So, Doran, who do you think is going to win? What's your Stanley Cup predictions? All right, Amazon. Sandra, absolutely. Can we switch from monthly to yearly at the discounted price? We'll lock you in at that, Sandra. And this is a standard Top Gun Options promise. If it's $97 a month right now, 2 years from now, it's not gonna be $197. I don't do that. I have people here. We have $3,000 services that are still paying $500 a year because they were the first people here. So I don't do the price increase stuff, Sandra. So yeah. You can switch from monthly. Just give us a call, Sandra, after a couple months. Like, hey, man, I like this, and I'll upgrade. Yeah, you bet, man. Rob signed up monthly, out of town tomorrow. Awesome, Rob. You'll get access to the replay. So, Graham, as I said, imagine if Amazon raises price 1 cent per item. That's a great way to look at it, Graham. I mean, Jeff Bezos could send out a text to his CFO and be like, hey, raise the price of everything just a penny. And it's $2 billion, man. So, Stanley, anyone but the Bruins, okay? Dorn, Sharks, Bruins. I'm going to go East Coast. I'm not going to go with the left coast guys. Ken, I answered that one. Weekly or longer? The answer is yes. We're going to trade weeklies. We're going to trade front month, and we're going to trade the June 21s. So tomorrow is going to be focused on establishing the long-term June 21 XLY, the base trades, like the base of our pyramid. That's what we're going to be focused on tomorrow, Ken. Okay, yeah, I do. Thanks. And my current members are booting. Say, I love our squadron, man. We have a tight-knit, close squadron. So if you've been waiting for an entry-level product to get on board TGO, because some of our other services obviously are a little higher dollar, this is it. $97, focusing just on Amazon and XLY. And we'll take a poll tomorrow when we want to do this brief. Friday, Monday, or one of the other days. I'm open to you guys, man. I do this all day, all night. So not really. I'm kidding. Sound like a DJ. So, Dan, this is the exact service I want. Thanks. You're welcome, man. Can you put link here so I can get signed up and get back to my wife? MD, here it is right here, man. I'm going to paste it right there, and you can get back to your wife, man. And I'm going to get back to the call, and then I'm going to go see. So there you go, MD. That is in there. Craig, that's exactly right. That works for Netflix. $2 more per month. That's not my issue. That's my brother's issue, right? I saw that on social media. Oh my God, Netflix. I was so worried when Netflix raised prices, and then I realized it was a problem for my sister-in-law and not me, meaning people are sharing their logins. So, all right, guys, I'm going to save the rest of the trading questions for tomorrow. It's $97, folks, for 30 days. I mean, if that's your last $97, please do not do this. But tomorrow we're going to dig into the innards of Amazon and XLY. We're going to establish long-term bullish positions, and then we're going to be airborne. Goes up, we're going to trade bullish. Goes sideways, we're going to be neutral with iron condors. It goes down, we're going to pound it with bearish spreads, right? And Amazon, for a while there, was doing these violent moves where we could do a tactic that I'm going to teach you about called a double vertical. Stand by for that one. All right, guys, I got to run. Family first, Amazon second, on the way to the school so I can listen to the rest of it. Welcome aboard. Phone was going crazy, which means we're probably going to top out at 200 members here, and it's going to be an awesome service. First live trade service added to TGO in about 4 years. So I'm excited. If I'm excited, hopefully you guys are too, okay? Have a great rest of your night. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless, and welcome aboard Solo Friday. I'll see you guys tomorrow.